What's up, HRV? I'm Dais Sedano.
And I'm Audrey Dozier. Welcome to What's Up, our weekly show about what's going on at the high school.
Congratulations to both the girls and boys water polo teams. Both won state championships last weekend.
The girls beat Ashland in the semifinals 18-4, then beat West Albany 9-2 in the finals.
4 Eagles were named first team All-State: Madikit Greenleaf, Jenny Ruggles, Olivia Summerfield, and Faith Ocheski.
Faith was also named 5A Player of the Year.
The boys beat Ashland 11-7 in the semifinals. They then beat their rival Park Rose 12-6 in the finals.
3 boys were chosen for the All-State team: Jed Little, Penn Pappenchith, and Connor McElwee, who was also named Player of the Year.
The annual canned food drive begins today.
We sent Christian, Elion, and Theo to get the details.
The canned food drive, also known as Leprechaun, is happening on November 22nd. It goes from November 22nd to December 18th, and it is in your 6th period class. And we will have an assembly on the 22nd to get kicked off. The prizes. We have, for the top 4 classes, get a choice of 5 prizes this year. And the first prize is they could have a bowling party. They could get Betty's cinnamon rolls. They could get a Andrew's pizza party. I know, like, the top class last year, they went out to a restaurant, and that is an option as well. And then we also put in that they could choose for the whole class to get half price to the lock-in. So, and then the classes that get at least 500 cans will get hot cocoa. And if a class is able to get 750 cans, they can choose between Rosar's cookies or donuts. And the top prize for that is 1,000 cans, and the whole class will get dilly bars. Yay!
I think they ranked 4th, which is a real bummer because we were trying to beat Mr. Yusui's class. I told them that if we were able to place in the top 4, whatever prize we earned, we'd turn it into a giant class-wide party. Oh, we're gonna dominate. I've got really motivated kids.
Last year, we came in 1 ahead of Mrs. Yusui's class. Beating Mrs. Yusui's class was the only incentive for the class. I think it was my film class last year, and I talked to the theater downtown, and so they said if we came in the top 3 or 4, they'd let us go down and watch a movie down there. That was another incentive. I think I'm going to beat Mrs. Yusui's class again.
We took first. I forget what my incentives were, but it's just good to try to help the community. I always hope to win. I like winning things, and it's good for everybody.
All right, thank you.
Yasmin Velagas is a sophomore at HRV. She's also a talented artist.
Some of her art is currently on display at the Columbia Center of the Arts. Adrian, Monsi, and Leslie went to check it out.
Yasmin has worked with the Columbia Center for the Arts for 3 years now, and she has managed to become one of the most successful artists displayed. We spoke to Caroline Smith, the gallery manager at the center, and here's what she had to say.
So 10 years ago, Yasmin Villegas took an art class right here in our studio at Columbia Center for the Arts. And the art teacher, whose name was Yvonne Pepin Wakefield, saw something really promising in her, and she asked her mom if she could teach her, have her as an individual student. And so from that point on, so this was 6 years ago, and Yasmin was 10 years old, she has been working with Yvonne Pepin Wakefield. And what you see here is her 6-year retrospective. So now she's 16 years old, and I have been fortunate enough to been working with her for the last 3.5 years. So about 3 years ago, she was in our Emerging Artists show, and she was interviewed for the paper, and we were so lucky to have her. And since then, we've been selling her work in the retail section, and we've had her in a number of other shows as well. And then as you look around, you can see the work that she has right here. This represents a whole lot of different stages that she's gone through. So you can see the last 2 pieces that she did here are her plein air work, which means she's painting outside. And so we have the Hood River Bridge and the Dalles Bridge. And this work over here is her pointillism. She was practicing pointillism. And then she's done a series of cherries, and she has this watercolor. So with Yvonne, she's done acrylic and watercolor and oil pastels. It's always wonderful for me when we have an opening that so many people in town come and support Yasmin. And we had a huge turnout for First Friday, which is really awesome. And all the red dots you see are all sold pieces. So a lot of people have supported her by buying her work as well. 3 years ago when I met Yasmin, she's very shy and she doesn't like to talk very much. And I knew I had won the day that she started talking to me, and it made me so happy. She has had a lot of challenges in her life, and the art has given her a voice where she is comfortable and happy, and it makes me so happy to have watched her grow over these years. Now, I've only been here 3 years, but in 3 years I've watched her really grow into a beautiful young woman who has confidence with her in her art. And we love to have her in here, and she loves to be in here. So this month we sold 12 of her pieces. That's actually last month when we hung the show in this month. And she is the most successful artist in this show. So she sold more pieces than any other artist in the show. And we've had some pretty successful artists in the show, so it's really a lot to say that the community is so supportive of her, and it really does my heart good to have her work in here. So we've had a lot of people in looking at her work this month, but tomorrow is the last day, so if you want to come and see her work on the walls, come on down.
That's our show for the week. Thanks for watching.
We'll leave you with the question of the week.
This week, we gave students an unorthodox science quiz.
Come back next week and we'll tell you
What's up?
Why is the sky blue?
I don't know. Isn't there a song about it?
Because of the oxygen?
Because of the oxygen.
Sky's blue because the ocean's blue.
Sky's blue because the size of the molecules in the atmosphere, primarily nitrogen, are the right size to absorb and reflect primarily actually like purple light. So the purple end of the spectrum gets reflected most, but we see mostly blue because our eyes are more attuned to seeing blue.
Why is grass green? Food coloring.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
The grass is green because the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Photosynthesis.
Because grass, again, kind of same thing, it absorbs other wavelengths, and green would be the wavelength of light that grass does not absorb, and so it reflects it, and so we see it as green.
Do fish get thirsty?
Yes. No.
No, they don't.
No. No, because they're in water.
No.
Okay, that really, I don't know.
Interesting question. I don't know what fish think. I don't think anybody can answer that question because it talks about the psychology of a fish. What makes a rainbow?
Rain and sun.
The water in the air reflecting off of light.
The water reflecting off the sun.
The light bouncing off the rain.
The water molecules in the air reflecting against the sun.
Leprechauns.
So when light goes through water droplets, right, because you always see a rainbow when there's like rain close by. So when light enters a water droplet, it can reflect only a certain way, kind of off the back edge and then off the bottom edge and then back to you. And because when light goes through water, it travels at a different speed. So it separates out the red, green, blue sections of the light. And so when it comes back to us, we see the light as separated into order by wavelength. If you drop a bowling ball and a lacrosse ball at the same time, which one lands first?
They both hit at the same time. They land at the same time.
They land at the same time.
They land at the same time.
The tennis ball.
I'm done. I have no idea.
Crossball, which one lands first?
They land at the same time.